Hello and welcome. This video is about The Watcher. I've been waiting for this DLC to come out for months, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. So as I said, I've been waiting for this DLC to come out for months, and so I was hyped for this to come out. Here is the first cutscene. They really decided to trauma dump us right there. But I guess that really just kind of sets the tone for what this DLC is going to be. Maybe, perhaps. I don't know what it's going to be like. So right away as we started, right after I went through this, I ran into a bunch of scavs. And man, they were not happy to see me. Right away, they were violent. They were throwing hands. And so I just wanted to do the Watcher thing of just hiding where I was. But they really had other plans of what to do, and I ended up dying right away, 10 seconds after starting the game. That was just a phenomenal start. But as I continued on, I found some of the new areas like this hydroponics place. That was pretty cool. Pretty similar to the industrial complex, and I think part of that is because it is right over the industrial complex, as you can see right here. That's kind of cool, interesting area. I was kind of thinking that as I got there. Right away, as I jumped down there, I encountered a blue lizard, but I was able to just kind of skip past him and get to the save area right away, which was pretty cool. After saving right away again, I happened to run into some more scavs right away, as you can see here. In just a second after getting my food, I came across them and they just immediately started throwing hands again. And I didn't know what their problem was, but that one guy you saw there in the corner had the perfect aim and just got a headshot on me and killed me. And of course, I decided to die right away again. I say decided because yep, definitely my decision as a gamer to do that. As you can see, the rot has now spread all the way to the industrial complex, which means, I'm assuming, that the timeline that this takes place in, at least for this area right here, is pretty far in the future after Five Pebbles has just completely deteriorated, which is definitely interesting. So right after this, I go and I find another save, which, as you can see here in a second, will lead us to another encounter with some scavs. This time, however, they did not kill me, and I did not kill them. They did, however, just waste about 5 minutes of my time, and so I have sped it up here, as you can see. It's kind of comical how they just run around, and then that one just stays there almost like a guard. It was pretty funny in my opinion. But then I was able to continue on and just continue my mission of exploring and trying to figure out exactly what I am going to do. And what I did was just try to go the normal, ordinary route to Shaded Citadel and just try to see if I can't do the normal campaign quests and just what would happen along the way. And it turned out that a bunch of stuff did happen that ended up stopping me from going the normal way, as we'll find out in a minute. Right here, we hit the spot where I have to grind away for a bunch of karma levels before I can go on into the Shaded Citadels. So this is a fairly brief time lapse of how long that took. So, after getting to max karma, I was finally able to go on into the Shaded Citadel. And a lot of the Shaded Citadel I cut out just because Shaded Citadel is pretty boring to watch just due to how dark it is. But I took another time lapse of some of what I did, which was, like I said, like even here, you can't even see my character. I mean, you can, but it's kind of hard. And it's just so dark, it really doesn't make for good content. Not that really anybody's going to see this video anyways. But it really doesn't make for good content when you can't see what's going on your screen. So right here, I was able to kill a scav and take his lantern so you can actually see, but that wouldn't matter very much because I die right here. And I lost the lantern. Never recovered the lantern, but I was able to get out of there pretty fast, and I decided to just go a different way, which would also ultimately end up in a dead end, which is so far really the only complaint that I have with this DLC is the dead ends. They don't really let you know, and you just kind of run into them, and it's not a huge deal because I haven't found a whole lot. It's really just in the normal game areas that they have this happen, but it is still annoying to go all this way and then just find out it's a dead end. But really, that's like the only complaint I have so far. It's really been a pretty awesome DLC. I took another time lapse here as I go through this area just trying to get to the memory crypts. But as you'll see in a couple of seconds here, the memory crypts, you can't get to them. It's just another dead end. You have this save, but it doesn't really get you anywhere. So I saved here, and I did go up to just try and see if there was a way to get to the memory crypts, but there wasn't. I'm not going to show that, so I had to go back through Shaded Citadel to get to the outskirts because I thought, well, of course I can get to the outskirts, and there's probably going to be something there. And there did end up being something there, but it did take a little while to get to the outskirts as I had to go back a ways through a bunch of stuff. But before I went to the outskirts, I found an interesting little guy. I found our first echo, and here is where things start to get interesting. So, that in and of itself was a pretty interesting interaction with that guy. He was a pretty, I don't know, he sounded like he was on crack. But, anyways, instead of lifting up my karma cap, he teleported me back to the area that I was in first. You know, it wasn't the area that I spawned in, but it was part of that same area. And I was super confused. And at the same time, I started to notice that things had changed a little bit. Things looked like they had aged almost. Almost like there was oil dripping where there shouldn't be. There's weird particles. It was kind of strange. So I ended up going back to the industrial complex and saving and then going to the outskirts and just kind of seeing what they had there. And that was, you know, an interesting ordeal, and I did end up finding some cool stuff there. One of the not so cool things, however, that I found there was this red lizard, who, of course, had to kill me immediately after I had gotten into the outskirts, which was just thrilling. But I was able to get back there pretty fast. It wasn't super deep into the outskirts and continue on my journey after evading this green lizard, which again was a pretty simple thing to do. But then I went through this again. I almost died. Like, if I would have stayed there for any longer amount of time, I probably would have died to that red lizard again. But I was a fast little slug cat and I got out of there. Then I made my way up here, which I thought was going to be a new area, but it ended up just being one of the ways to get to the farmer race. And right here was one of the cool things, because this is where I first really started to notice a change. Just weird things flying in the air. it's super interesting, and I'm excited to find out what more they're going to do with it. If they're going to continue on with this, or if this is just for this one section of the Rain World. And then I ran across some more scavs, and if you have been watching closely, you'll know that this probably isn't going to end well for our little slug pet friend here. Because after they left, at least I thought they left, I decided to make a run for it, past the scavenger outpost, but they had a well-aimed spear at my head. But it is no worry, because a few minutes later I was back, and this time I did run past the scav outpost, and they could not catch me this time. So I made it all the way back just to find out that I needed max karma. And so here I'll be able to show a quick little time lapse of getting to max karma. After getting max karma, I was able to head to the Farmerays, and I was hoping I'd be able to explore a little bit more of the Farmerays than what they let me, but I really didn't end up exploring that much of the Farmerays. But I was able to find our Echo again, and he gave us some more interesting dialogue. You again. Oh, this guy. What is this guy talking about? This guy's insane. Also, he's in more than one place. This time, after getting sent back to the same area as before, I was given an apparent gift. And this gift was invisibility, which is pretty insane. And I was able to use it right away once I went into the outskirts. And I used it here to avoid our little dropwig friend here, which there appears to just be more dropwigs all over the place after downpour came. But as you can see, he was right there in the corner, but he didn't see me. It was so nice to be able to just avoid enemies. And right here, I was trying to go back to the Farmerays, which I ultimately found out was to no avail. There wasn't anything else. It's literally, I just went there to find our Echo friend. So then I went back to go and explore for either the garbage wastes or the chimney canopy, whichever one I could find or get to first. And that ended up being the chimney canopy. But first, I kind of had to avoid these lizards. This right here was a pretty stressful ordeal because I almost died to this green lizard, who is also infected, by the way. It's super weird. I didn't understand how that worked, but he is infected, and that kind of keeps on going throughout a bunch of the DLC. But if you run out of your invisibility before you cancel it, you'll be tired and slow, kind of like Gourmand after throwing a spear. So you got to be careful about that. That's how I almost died to this lizard here. But then I was able to just go back to the industrial complex. And here is another, for the most part, time lapse. I include a couple of deaths here just because they're kind of funny to die. But this time lapse is just, I was just trying to expand my map to find one of the passageways to either, like I said, the chimney canopy or the garbage wastes. So I die here. Just disappointing. And then I just continue going. And I ended up dying again, like right over here, after thinking that I got away, but unfortunately, it was not the case. So it continues on here, more exploring, just restarting, having to figure out where to go. And then I died again right here to the rot. I feel like I died to the rot more than normal predators in this area, which is kind of sad. And then after those couple of deaths, I was finally able to get past that wall without dying and slowly make my way through this whole area to the chimney canopy after playing cat and mouse with this vulture and lizard that you can barely see because this time lapse is going too fast. But right here is where I make it to the chimney canopy, and the chimney canopy, at this point, I know my goal is really only to find that echo and just kind of see what he says. I'm assuming, though, when I find this echo, that he's just going to send me back to the same area that I had before. But as you will see in just a second, that is not the case. Yo, what's up, dude? I mean, I've been most of the nights. Oh, we don't even. Oh, yeah. Chomp my fat? Yes, I was. Yes, that's true. Yeah, that happened only once, though. That only happened once. Yes. Ooh, 720 plays. Difficult pressures analysis. So instead of just taking me back to the previous area, he rips a hole open through literal time and space and sends me to a completely different world, I'm assuming, than what I am, which means literally the multiverse has opened its hands and is now letting me, a slug cat, wander through just the worlds that this place has. And that is pretty stinking cool, in my opinion. I, at this point, am just like super excited. And in fact, I'm able to get through this area super fast. And another rift in time and space is about to be opened when I go through here. And here is where things kind of come to a standstill, really, because I'm about to die a lot. But first, before that, I find this new area, and it's super cool and happy and fun, and I am just absolutely loving it. But then, of course, once I get here, I'm looking around at just the coolness of this new world that has opened itself. And I'm truly finding out for myself at this point in time what my name stands for, the Watcher. And it is beautiful and amazing. And I love it. And then I jump down here, and wouldn't you know it, a lizard comes and kills me. And I die. Once. And then again. And then, I'm exploring some more and I decide to fall and I die again. And you know what? Whose dies once? Let's die to a dropwig again. That's just lovely. Oh, let's die to a lizard. That's fun. I love this. And let's get eaten by this lizard here and die again. And then die to the dropwig again. And then, you know what? For that good matter, let's just fall into a bunch of two different lizards fighting again. Because that's how we love to live life. And then, you know what? After all of that, why don't we die to this vulture? And as it just sits there and drowns us because it got sucked into the rift along with us. That was fun. I almost rage quit there. No, I didn't rage quit there. I lasted a little longer. I fell again. I died. That was fun. I died again here. That was fun. You kind of get the gist. I'm dying a lot here. But you know what? The deaths are about to slow down, and I'm about to find another cool rift in time and space, and I'm going to be able to go to the new area where this video is going to come to an end. But not yet. First, we have to make it there. And, that takes a few minutes. And first, before all of that, of course, I see these super cool moth creatures. At least I think they're cool at the moment, before I find out that they're actually pretty obnoxious and dumb and annoying. And I don't really like them. They're kind of like vultures, but less lethal. The less lethal version of vultures, essentially, that's what they are. Look at that transition. Man, I wish I could edit more of those, but my computer says my GPU can't handle it. So I'll try to figure that out in the next video, everyone. So I go down here and I find a save. And then, as you can see right here, this is where the next rift in time and space is. And of course, that scared me, as you can see by the surprise backflip. But again, I at this point I think, oh, maybe they're nice, maybe they're fine, maybe they're just some chill guys. But after I teleport through this awesome rift in time and space, I find out that that is not, in fact, the case. But I don't die, which is pretty crazy considering the amount of times that I had died before this. It would be a really soul wrenching, sucking sadness if I died again here. But I didn't. I don't know if I died a single time in this particular area. I thought he was dead for a second, but no, he decided to grab me with his little fingers. I don't know what you want to call those things, but he grabbed me with them and was about to carry me off before I speared him. And so I know what I'm supposed to do here. Kind of, not really. I'm just wandering at this point. But I am looking inadvertently, I think that's the right use of that word, for our lovely Echo on Crack. And we find him after almost thinking that I got him a soft lock. This part, like, man, if my microphone had been working like it was supposed to, this would be kind of funny. Because I panicked so hard when I fell in that hole, because I thought I was stuck there, and then I realized I could just get past it, and it was pretty chill, pretty fun. After panicking and thinking I was soft locked. And of course, right here, I haven't mentioned it. I was going to say it earlier, but I forgot. This right here, these rooms remind me of like when I was watching the videos of like the back rooms back in the day. Just the way that they're built. Anyways, here is our friend on crack again. Let's give a listen. Yes, yes, I tell you, I'm So here, our friend just decides to open another rift in time and space and take us to what I presume to be an iterator who has just fallen into disrepair. And I don't even know if they're alive just because of how little action is going on in this place. But I am pretty sure that this is an old iterator in this area. But this area is where I did end up rage quitting. But not necessarily because I died. It is, you'll see, it's because I lag or something weird. Anyways, I explore this area and it's pretty interesting. It's not super big though. It's pretty like small, at least from what I've explored. And of course, I have to die to the rot again. I think earlier in this video I said that I died to the rot more than enemies. And I think that might be true, but that earlier area I did die to enemies a lot. So I come down to this room over here, and I'm exploring, and I find this rift. And this rift is kind of interesting, and it really distorts my vision and my view. And I'm pretty confused, and I don't know what's going on, and I end up falling into some, you guessed it, rot. And I die. I go back into this room, trying to get to this little save spot here, a little hibernation room, but it ends up just sucking me into this weird thing that I can't get out of, but it also doesn't teleport me. And so I literally just sat here for like a good like 5 minutes. I have it sped up here, just trying to figure out what's going on, and I never really ended up doing that, and so I ended up just getting off for the night. I've been playing for like 4 hours before that, and it was like 1 by that time. So I just got off, and that's where this video is going to end. I will continue off from there, kind of try to figure out where I am, and hopefully my microphone will be working, so I'll be able to get some more live recording in instead of just having to do the whole thing as a voiceover, because it is kind of hard to do the whole thing as a voiceover, I am noticing. But like I said, this is my first video, so take this all with a grain of salt. Would love advice if anyone happened to get this far in the video. And consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing, perhaps. Anyways, goodbye. Have a good day, night, or whatever it is.